When Josh was dying, he was only able to see in the direction that his head was pointing because he had become completely paralyzed. He couldn't move any part of his body at all, but he still had facial expressions. He could still move his lips and his eyes, and he could see and he could blink. And as his friends said their goodbyes, I stood there helplessly, frozen at the foot of his bed. And I knew he could not feel my hand on him as I stood there, but still, I stood there just outside of his peripheral vision. And I remained there for hours at a time with my hand glued to his ankle anyway, as he lay there unaware of my touch or even my presence in that room. And when they had finished and they left the ICU, and even my husband had spoken his final words of love to his dear young son, I watched him back away from Josh's view, and now it was my turn. And so I moved close to him now, and I bent over him, maneuvering my own face just inches from him, tilting it to mirror the way that he was lying in his bed. And I remember him looking thoughtfully and determined, straight and deep into my eyes. And he was smiling so big at me, just like he always did. And I remember smiling back at him at this awful, bizarre moment for his sake. And I remember touching his forehead and cheek and cupping his face in my hand so he could actually feel me there. I wanted so badly to comfort him, but I didn't know how to, so I thought if I touched his face, he would know that I was there with him. And there in that awful room, I fixed my eyes on his beautiful face when suddenly I realized I had no words in me for him. I had nothing to say, and I was horrified by that realization that I had nothing to say. And so stricken and mute, and not wanting to fail in that moment between us, through tearful eyes and my very best feigned smile, and a gaze that was uncomfortably long and awkwardly silent, I simply opened my mouth. And as I did, quiet, gentle words fell out. And what came so simply and naturally and directly were words from deep inside, words that I'd had for him all along. There in that awful room, I simply said, "I love you so much." And slowly scanning my face, as if to memorize it for another time, when he could see it no longer, Josh let his gaze fall back onto my eyes as he mouthed back the words, "I love you too." Josh died after having had to say goodbyes to dozens of friends and close family, with a muted voice and mouthed words, unable to draw breath, to even whisper his farewells, unable to move a single limb, to gesture or to write, relying entirely on facial expressions to communicate profound thoughts that only he could know. Healthcare-associated infections represent an American healthcare disgrace that is killing us and our families unnecessarily. This is unacceptable and cannot stand. And I speak now to caregivers everywhere within the sound of my voice, to you nurses and doctors and ICPs, and you, the administrators and care managers, and everyone directly or indirectly associated with the delivery of health care. I often think back on that sad day, the saddest day of my life thus far, when I could barely think clearly enough to formulate or speak meaningful words to a dying son who should not have been dying at all. And it has transformed me into a woman on fire. The devastating experience of the loss of our son has since lodged solemn, compelling, and significant words into my mouth that I feel obligated to speak aloud for myself and for Josh and for patients present and future. So please listen carefully, because I am here at great personal cost and because of unimaginable loss that I will never recover from. You hold in your hands the power, every single moment that you care for a patient, to initiate awesome events far beyond anything you can even think of or dream, because what you do for a living matters. What you do is important, and how you deliver care has meaning, enormous impact with far-reaching consequences in ways you will never know, profoundly touching patients like Josh and families like mine forever. I ask that you consider the potential consequences of simply washing or sanitizing your hands when delivering care, and the manifestation of what that one seemingly small step can mean to one family like mine and the fate of the whole world. One person lives because of you, and all that they contribute after that is because of you. Change one thing, change everything. It's true. I would like for you to consider the far-reaching consequences and the repercussions of assuming the role of champion of best hand hygiene practices and infection prevention on your floor and within your hospital, and how you hold great potential to save a person's very life, and how the power of that one action is able to transform the world in profound ways, unknowable ways that you will not know and cannot know or fully understand, but their impact is immeasurable and exponential. But I want you to know that when you lay your head down at night, you can know this. You can sleep peacefully and rest gently and well, fully assured in your heart of your best effort, taking personal satisfaction in the superb knowledge of your quiet but noble and grand contribution to life and the promising future of the world and the quality of families forever. And you know what? What's better than that? In closing, as patients, we come to you weak and stricken with ills, confidently laying down in your waiting arms, trusting souls, marveling in your work, full of admiration for what you do and your good, safe care of us. Thank you for your devoted commitment. We recognize it and eagerly embrace the spirit of it. For as we do, it makes us more confident in our care. Thank you for your outward displays of warmth and of grace, for compassionate smiles and kind words in a time and a place when our very bodies are at war against us. Your care comforts us more than you will ever know. Thank you for treating us as partners in our medical care and hearing us when we are seeking knowledge, pointing us and leading us to good informational resources so that we may better understand our unique conditions and circumstances, participating as best we can in order to achieve better expected outcomes that we can all be proud of. Thank you for striving to make your deep mark on the very landscape of American healthcare, an imprint that neither the winds of change nor the sea of national need will easily erode or wear away. The CDC tells me that if healthcare providers and visitors alike would simply sanitize their hands prior to touching the patients or objects in the room, they could potentially save 40,000 people a year. Wash a hand, save a patient, is that right? They say yes. Change one thing, change everything. It's so true. I leave you now with a visual aid close to my own heart. It's the truly authentic and most genuine sum of what I've learned about healthcare-acquired infections that I willingly now give to all of you. Thank you.